Alright, I'm back with the Destiny 2 video. Even with my limited YouTubing these days, I definitely had to try and get one of these out. A couple around Edge of Fate's launch here. Big deal, really big deal in the entire history of the game. Not just a new expansion, but a whole new era of the game. This is obviously going to be a limited time review of it, given that it's just been out for a day. So this is mostly kind of like a first impressions piece. I'll have a written, thing that I write about it too. That'll be on my Forbes page. But for now, we can launch into what I think about the game. I'll just do a brief thing. Oh, this mission is just the first mission, so this is as least spoilers as I could do. I just wrote a thing about how this is the worst launch for an expansion by far in terms of player count. It didn't crack 100,000 concurrents on Steam. That's less than a third of the final shape. That's way less than half of Beyond Light, which was the previous low. We expected a low launch, but this is kind of where we are now. It's where the series is going from here. This was sort of easy to see coming, and I'm curious what the new baseline will be from here based on the people that do show up and what they think of the expansion itself. What I think of the expansion itself so far is mostly bad, sort of mixed. There's really kind of one aspect of the expansion I like, and then I don't really like the rest of it so far. I have not engaged with some of the new systems Bungie put in place. Just to say up front, I haven't played the Portal, so that's something I have not done yet. I've been focused completely on the campaign. I've heard mixed things about the Portal, but I'm not going to say anything about that until I play it for myself. Just immediately, it seems like I can't imagine a scenario where I'm going to get like a pre-made fire team to go play the Portal, but we'll talk about that at a different time. Kepler, the campaign. God, Kepler sucks. This is a terrible planet. It's easily the ugliest planet I've ever seen in this game. Both games, probably. There's no coherent art direction here at all. It is like, a couple, rocky areas, and then just these endless, I called them booger-filled tunnels, where it's just this like green pustule sewer system, which is supposed to be like the stuff that's corrupting the Fallen's ether and whatever, but like, it's all just so samey. It's this stuff mixed with like architecture that seems pulled from like Titan and the Tangled Shore, and it's so incoherently ugly that I really can't stand it. And not just in terms of how it looks. Navigation here is weird and mostly bad. There's not a whole lot of easy ways to get from place to place, because half the time you got to play these little traversal mini games with the little abilities that you get from the destination. More on that in a second. And this is a zone where you can't use your Sparrow. It's not big enough to use your Sparrow, so they are just kind of forcing you to run everywhere. The good news is there are a lot of different landing sites, so you don't have to just like start in the middle and haul ass to like literally everywhere, which is nice. But traversal in this is not great. The campaign, in terms of how it's structured, it's using all these spaces, which is not uncommon for a campaign to use like the patrol spaces, but there aren't really like any big set pieces, you know what I mean? Like we've seen in past campaigns, at least so far. I think I'm like 80% done with the campaign, but it's just like go through these old areas that you've gone through like 3 times so far, and then you get to a room and there's some sort of boss fight against a large thing, and that's sort of it. These campaign missions are pretty long. This campaign is pretty long for, this being a smaller expansion, but in some ways it feels like it's sort of being dragged out a bit rather than these missions needing to be structured the way they are. I hate these stupid destination powers. God, they're so lame. Like I don't know how else to say it. The first mission introduces you to Matter Spark, which I guess is giving people motion sickness because it's so like weird. Like the camera spins around and like it flashes and like it's a whole thing. I just think it's very unfun. Like it's, they built these little tunnels and stuff that you have to go into and roll around a little Metroid ball. Sometimes this is for like mission mechanics frequently to like unlock some gate or lower a shield or something. You can like quote unquote attack with Matter Spark, but it's just a very low level shock. I'm playing on legendary, so maybe it's better on normal, but like it's just this little goofy like electrocuting these enemies and stunning them, and it's quite poor. I don't even understand like what it's doing sometimes. Like in the I think it was the first mission, this one, where there's like a boss section, there's shields, and you're supposed to use like Matter Spark to like maybe get through the shield, but then you can shoot it. It's all very confusing. Matter Spark is definitely the worst one. The teleporter one is fine. You know, find a purple thing, find a cannon, shoot the purple thing, warp over there. Sometimes bounce the purple thing off some relays, and then go over there. It's just sort of busy work. I don't know how else to really describe it. I probably like the matter manipulator one best, the kind of strand-based one. It's like what you're using it for actual puzzles. It's like, oh, make a ramp here, when you could have just had a ramp there in the first place. I like that one just because you can throw it at enemies and it like auto suspends them. So that's actually kind of fun in combat, but I would say that's the only one that's fun in combat. Like there have been maybe 2 instances where kind of all of these combine together to make a vaguely interesting puzzle in terms of like, okay, I got to use Matter Spark to go in here, and then the thing to make a path to go here, to teleport there, and like that's, you know, it's okay. It's something that we haven't really done in Destiny, but it's hard for this to not just feel like a gimmick. And looking at this ahead of time, like you'd see the electric Samus ball that they promoted the hell out of, and I'm like, this does not really look good or like Destiny, and sure enough, I don't like it, and I think it's bad. In terms of, I'll just switch to something positive. I really like the campaign story so far. A lot of this revolves around Lodi, I think it's Lodi, I've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time, who is this new guy who looks like Gordon Freeman, who has teleported here from the 60s, I think, where he worked for pretty much the agency from the video game Control. It's like a sort of extraterrestrial observation thing, and you know, he's here now, and he's very mysterious, and he's very polite, and he's calling us Miss Ray and Mr. Ghost. It's very funny. I just heard him say Mr. Drifter. He's such a good character. He's so well voiced, like weirdly above and beyond most of the other voice work in this game. I'm not quite sure what happened here with his performance and his writing, but like he's a genuinely good character. I called him the anti-Nimbus, where like every time Nimbus talked or did anything, it's like nails on a chalkboard. But like Lodi is great. He's amazing. I really like him. And it's not just him. I think the overall story here is interesting. I can't remember the last time there's been like a really, really true mystery where I have no real idea what's going on here. And when I've been like totally surprised by kind of a plot turn, it's been a while for that. I just hit a big cutscene that was hyped up as being big. Pretty big plot turn, not gonna lie. And that was very cool to see. Maybe there's more at the end here, but I really enjoy the narrative here. At first, like they were saying that, and I'm like, what's going on? Like I don't like I'm saving a food supply for people. I don't know what's happening. But the further you get, the more coherent it becomes, and I think this is kind of a good setup for an expansion. The 9, you know, we're barely getting a taste of them. It's this idea that like the 9 have been around the whole time and like shaping events, and it's a bit of a retcon because like, you know, for years and years Bungie has not been like, oh, the 9 did this to direct this way, but like now that's what they're sort of playing at, which I think it works, and I'm very curious to see more of the 9 from here. So story-wise, I think this is a great introduction to this new era. Gameplay-wise, I think it kind of sucks. In terms of like, you know, farming and actual gameplay things, I've barely gotten into that. The impression I'm getting is that this new tier loot, I mean, there's just not that much gear to go after right now. I mean, it's a limited number of like destination weapons. Obviously, there'll be raid weapons. There's some like portal playlist weapons, but you know, you're not going after old versions of the weapons you already like, because those don't exist. Like those will have to be re-added under the new tier system for God, how many times are weapons going to be reissued at this point? And like it's not sunsetting in the sense where like all the weapons you're using are still viable. It's just in terms of a loot pursuit, it's like you can really only pursue a pretty limited slate of weapons, and like that will change when more stuff is added, but for now it's not amazing. The armor system, I'm still trying to get my head around. I think it might end up being better. I think what they changed the stats into are mostly better and more interesting, and there's less like wholly useless stats. It's just very jarring to like have to finally farm new armor again for the first time in literally years. I've said this is the thing I think they needed to do at some point. It's just I'm having trouble initially figuring out like what build I want to go for, like, you know, when should I be replacing my old armor, like which stats do I need to dramatically increase. Like I can't say whether or not this is a good thing or bad thing yet. It's just something I'm kind of getting started with now. But I think it's good. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. There is other stuff to come. There's the raid, obviously. I know there's some end of campaign missions. I've still got a number of side quests to do, but this is just a first impression. I have certainly more to play over the course of the week. Overall, I don't think this is going to land super well among the general public. Like, there's already, far less people playing it than, past expansions. This is only 10,000 more than the peak of Revenant, which I saw. That's crazy. And there's nothing here where it's like, oh yeah, Destiny's back, baby. Like, let's, come on in. Like, this is great now. I mean, it's a worse expansion. I don't think that this is a better expansion in any way but story compared to others. I have not enjoyed really gameplay segments. I think this is the worst planet they've ever done, personally, and I do not enjoy these gameplay gimmicks. You'll be like, oh, you upgrade them over time. So far, all the upgrades I've seen are not great. So I don't think that changes significantly over time. So more to play, more to do, more systems to explore. I'm not giving it a rating or something. But those are just kind of my initial thoughts. I'd be curious to hear your initial thoughts. So yeah, let me know in the comments. Take care.